Hello, Holy One. Hello, hello. Welcome to this space. Welcome to this space. Yes. So I would love to share this video with you. You're going to see it in just a minute here, but first I want to share the feedback I just received from a student in my course space that watched this video. This video is available in my course space only, and I'm now sharing it with the public, and I'm sharing the students' feedback as well. So I think it's going to be helpful to many, maybe, as I have been blessed greatly by this feedback and decided to release the video to the public. Thank you to Tanny for sharing your beautiful feedback with me and allowing me to share it with the world. And if you'll just allow the space, there's a lot here. There's a lot available in this space, in this video, in this connection you've designed. So I lay this at your feet. Any questions, comments, or feedback, email me. And thank you again, Tanny, for sharing.
I just got finished listening to Trusting Yourself, one of the videos that's in the course portal, and your words resonated with me so deeply. I got chills while you were speaking, and I had tears in my eyes because when you spoke about having to go through where you are in order to get to the other side, I have been in this space where I've been doing all of this work, all of this different spiritual work, and, working on raising my vibration and doing my best to come into divine alignment the best way that I know how. But I feel like, I'm still so angry sometimes. And like you talked about yelling at your children and getting to this point where you felt like you wish you had a shirt so you could just point to it that said, I'm sorry. That is exactly the space that I'm in right now, where I have this desire to get to this place, but I have been feeling like something is wrong because I'm like, why am I just not getting there? So your explanation of your understanding of, in order to get there, you just have to walk through it. And I understand that ascension, raising our vibration, is not a linear process at all. We bounce back and forth, but I keep falling back into judgment of what this is supposed to look like, and judgment of myself as I fall back into these places. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that, because it has given me a deeper understanding of where I am, and it is helping me to be okay with where I am and understand that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Because I am really in this point where it's like I'm teaching my kids these things that I'm learning too, and I'm really trying to live that out. But then I backslide and I yell at them, or I will say something to them, and it's not what I say, but it's the energy behind what I'm saying. It's how I'm saying it to them. And I find myself apologizing and or making amends to them and to my husband like every day. So just thank you for that perspective. So it's just, there were so many things that you said that resonated with me, that were just so very helpful to me in this place that I'm in right now. And then I also just wanted to say really quickly, I've been following the chat space today, but I haven't really had a chance to interact. And I've seen all of the beautiful things that are happening with Anthony. Just over this past week, I've been watching these things that have been happening for him, the visions and the different experiences and the light language. And it's so amazing. And I found myself being jealous because I want to desire those things too. And once I realized that I was jealous of what was happening, then I started to feel shame because I felt jealousy, like that was wrong. I was still making myself wrong instead of just allowing myself to feel what I was feeling and then to work through that place. But today, it was just a really beautiful experience because I was like, okay, why am I jealous? What is this trying to show me here? And I realized that I am not fully embodying my I am yet. You said something the other day. I can't remember if it was in another video that I was watching or if it was in the AQE Foundation's book or if it was from this past Saturday's class, because I've just been immersing myself in all of these things and I can't keep up with everything that I'm taking in. But you said that if you go and raise your vibration, anytime we do a meditation or an activation, our vibration is new. But if we go back and continue to do the same things that we have done before, that vibration is not going to hold. So I realize that in ways I am raising my vibration, but then I'm going and doing the same things that I was doing before. I'm using the same words and the same language. I'm approaching things with the same attitude. So I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not doing the work, if I'm not going to make the change, this is all on me. I have nothing to be jealous about because I am the one that is creating what is going on around me. And I've known that for a very long time, but you know how you can know something and it can be very profound. And then you go through some things and you revisit the same teaching and it has another layer or another dimension. And that's what's happening with this for me today. So I am very grateful for that experience where I felt jealous. And then I also understood, okay, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And everything is happening exactly the way that it is supposed to happen. So, again, I just wanted to thank you for sharing what you shared in that video. And also about how you said your children were able to see you go through this beautiful transformation and saw that you made the choice to become something else. You chose to do differently. And this is also amazing to me. But again, it's synchronicity, because as I started to go through this process and I literally had this, it was like an intuitive moment, a premonition. I don't know if that's what I want to call it, but this was a few months ago where I was thinking, not thinking, but it came to me that all of this work that I am doing, my children are going to be able to see me going through this. And one day, literally, I saw or heard, or however it came through, that same thing was going to happen, that they were going to say, you know what? I was able to watch my mom go from here to here. And it was amazing to behold. So, again, Andrea, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for this space. And I just wanted to share that with you. Blessings to you, love and light. And I'm very much looking forward to our class on Saturday.
Yerosue yanataua ye, tebe yanataua ye, ke akaukukoa ye, ke akakoe. Hello, Holy One. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A beautiful AQE space, AQE Foundations. So welcome to this space, Holy One. I am grateful and honored to connect with each and every one of you, whether you're able to be here in the live or you're catching this via video. And time, there is no time truly in this work. It is quantum energy, and it reaches everyone and finds everyone right where they're at in just the way that is most optimal for you in your now. So that's a really beautiful knowing for us to hold. So welcome to this space. I want all of those who are here maybe coming from an understanding of themselves as newer to this energy or this space or this opening of yourself. I want you to keep in mind to really be open to falling into you with trust that you're right where you need to be right now. To just really allow a moment with that thought, I'm right where I need to be right now. And taking a breath, feeling your body relax and move, release, open, let go as you hold that thought as you allow that alignment, no matter if you're brand new to this space and it's your first time ever connecting in with Acasma Quantum Energy, we have some brand new people. Or whether you're here and you've been doing this since it came forth in 2020 and you're a veteran and now you're in the Grandmaster course as well. I'm right where I need to be right now. Nice breath. Breath allows you to be whatever you are thinking you are being, It allows you to anchor whatever you are connecting in with. It allows you to expand the energies of those vibrations, of those thoughts, those beliefs, those experiences, those spaces that you are aligning. So allow your breath. When I say that a lot, right? I say that a lot. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started saying, allow your breath, I would have said, because it's healthy to just calm down and take a deep breath. Like that would be the epitome of why I would say, allow your breath. But over time, over years of working with everyone, students and clients, and my own being, I realized the layered availability, if you will, in allowing your breath, how important that is. So, no matter where you're coming in at for this course of Acasma Quantum Energy, be open to being good with right now. That's embedded in the understanding of the word allow. To be open to being good with right now. And somebody say, yeah, but right now is not good. Maybe you have things going on that are uncomfortable in some manner or difficult or really bad in some way for you, as way as your experience is going. And I'm not asking you to call the space or the experience good, but I'm asking you to be good no matter what the space or the experience is. That's what I'm asking you to trust and allow, is that you are good. The space you might be navigating may be bigger than you want it to be, but the space you're navigating is going to change, and it will change even faster, if you will, or in a more fluent way, when you allow yourself to not attach yourself to the space or the experience or whatever's happening, and you allow yourself to remember that it's a space, but it's not you. Now, I'm going to throw this fun, kooky little thing out there. You guys are all hear about the mandala effect, where you remember something and then you go to talk to somebody else about it and they say, that didn't happen, or that's not what, and then you research it and you look it up, whatever it is you remember from your past, and it says that never was, and then you're like, what? Am I on a different timeline? Like, what happened to my reality? You understand, most of you, I think, if not all of you, are familiar with the term, the mandala effect, right? If you're not, you could look it up. It's quite fascinating. But I'm asking you to see the space as not you, and I'm asking you to trust yourself more and allow yourself to understand that you're experiencing the space, but it's going to pass. So here's my mandala effect. Anybody wants to chime in after class, please do so. I was working on the Grandmaster PDF, which I did tell everybody there wouldn't be one, but now I'm making one so everybody can get a giggle that's in Grandmaster. Thank you, Quantum Kate. She got a really big laugh out of that one. She's seen the most of this, probably. So I'm working on it, and I come to this thing about this topic, really, right? Because as a Grandmaster, you have to be able to meet the student and yourself in every aspect of the journey. And in some spaces of the journey, you can feel like the space is not going to get change or be better, and it can feel daunting and on top of them, right? Or you or me. And so it's this knowing of that understanding of the sovereignty to where you're not the experience, you're having it. This too shall pass. Have you heard that line before? This too shall pass. Okay? I've heard the line before. For me, I remembered it as a quote of Jesus, of Yeshua, of Christ, that he said, this too shall pass. I remember being raised to hear that quote and understood it to be in the Bible and that it was Jesus's words, right? So I go to put it in the PDF. This too shall pass. Still a very powerful quote, and I'm not going to say that I agree with the timeline I'm on right now, at least as of last night. I didn't check this morning. But it says it was never in the Bible. What? There's got to be somebody in this class that remembers it being in the Bible, or at least the teaching of it being in the Bible. So I thought, what? So I asked my daughter, Sydney, and she said, I didn't give her the whole lead-in. You know, I just wanted to find out her unbiased. I said, do you know that phrase, this too shall pass? She says, yeah. I said, where do you remember it coming from? She says, well, Jesus said it. It's in the Bible. I said, well, apparently not anymore. And I asked my husband. He came home from work, and I asked him in a very, roundabout way so that he could share, right? He remembered it the same way I did. So whether or not I'm just on another timeline now, I'll very easily be on another one tomorrow, so I'm not really worried about it. That's not what this is about. But I thought it was interesting, and it went along with the phrase, this too shall pass. We could even say how interesting it is that it seems as if that phrase has passed. According to this timeline, it's not what it was, right? In a sense, right? But for me, it will always be an anchored understanding. No matter what search engines on the internet tell me, for me, it will always be a truth. And it can be one for you as well. So that when you're having a space where you're judging either what your outer world is looking like, feeling like, or, and a rabbit is running across the yard right now. So we have rabbit energy. Anybody wants to claim it, go ahead and take it. Our class, rabbit energy. Little rabbit, 90 miles an hour, but the lady's mowing the pasture next door, so that's why. But still, timing, we make note, conversation, thank you. But you can claim this too shall pass as a knowing you hold, because it really does go completely in alignment with the teachings of Acasma in the understanding of not being the experiential spaces, but having them. That's why they're called experiences. We experience them, but we aren't them, right? There's another story here that I feel is helpful. I listen to all the conversation coming in my outer world, and so I make note of them during the week if I feel like they're going to be connected in some way. So I was watching a sitcom, and on the sitcom, these two couples went to a escape room. You know what that is? It's a game in America where you go to these buildings and they set up these elaborate you got to follow the clues, and you have a certain amount of time, and you're in this room and it's locked, and you have to find the clues that lead you to how you open the door. Escape room, get out, right? And a lot of people, they like them. My daughter did one once. She said it was fun. But I'm watching this show, and it was about this couple that went to an escape room, and the two couples. One couple was very go with the flow, like just being really happy in the moment. They weren't really freaking out about competition or having to win or having to be as good as the other team or couple. They were just happy to be together, to be in the space, and have the experience, period. The experience wasn't driving them. They had shown up with their energy the way they were going to be, no matter what the experience was. And the other couple was the opposite. So they were very competitive, and they wanted to win and beat the other couple, and they wanted to get all the information and figure out the thing and open the door faster and be the reason why they won.
So it's a comedy. It was quite comical to watch, but they went through the whole thing, and the couple that was more open and flow state, they just kept getting all the answers right. Like they weren't even really trying, and it was just coming to them, and it was just super simplistic. And the couple that was kind of trying to force it more, they just kept getting in their heads too much and falling behind a bit. And it was making them more upset as it was happening. They were just falling into that energy more and more. So at the end, they all four, the one go with the flow couple figured it out. The door opens. They're just ecstatic that the door opened. They think everybody won because everybody gets out of the room. And the couple that didn't get to contribute enough to the space, yes, they were like sour, they were like, how did they do that? And how could we be this dumb? And they were very judgmental on themselves and the space. And the flow couple's like bubbling, oh yeah, this was so great. We should do this again sometime. And the other couple's just like, And so the bubbly flow state couple go out the door. And the other couple look at each other and they said, when we were back at the house, we played Trivial Pursuit and they lost. We killed them. We slaughtered them. And they were still happy. They didn't get upset that they lost and we won. And then we come here to the escape room. I thought we would slaughter them again. How did this happen? This sucks. I hate the way I feel right now. And the one of the couple there says, well, wait a minute. When they lost Trivial Pursuit at our house, they were happy. And when they won in the escape room, they were happy. And she says, I think they're just happy. And it doesn't matter what's happening. They're just happy, period. And when things aren't the way they want it to look, they're still able to just see it as a space they're moving through, and they keep moving, and it moves quicker because of it. So I thought about that, and I, thought about a lot of the feedback I get via email, I see in the chat. I understand the space of AQE Foundation very well, and it's a very big space of learning to be happy just because you are who you are in your glory the way you are, and not because of what is reflected back to you. AQE is about really dropping the separation of the self, the concept of separated self. It's about releasing that programmed way of being and allowing the implementation of the remembrance of the wholeness. So the wholeness is happy because it's whole. The separated self is always looking for something to fill that gap, that separation. And so it's never happy because it's never full. It's always has that space that is what it perceives as empty and in need. But everything that they seek to fill it with, they seek from the outer. And they look for the verification of that, the confirmation of that fulfillment in the outer. And I'm just here to say to anyone who may be navigating that space, or you may know someone who navigates it, or meet someone that navigates it, or you may go in and out of this, you have everything you need right now. You are right where you need to be right now. When you can begin to just let go and fall into that, trust that, live from it. That means you have to have faith and you have to act. You have, I'm sure all of you are familiar with acting, the understanding of an actor or an actress. They get a script. They're told a story, they're told the role, they're told what the director says, this is the kind of envisionment I have of it. I'd like you to portray it this way. Could you please do this? Yes. They learn the lines. They become that space. They act out the energy and the connective points of that character. So I am asking you to act out the character of wholeness. I am asking you to, when your go-to default setting gives you the lines you have said or thought or read or whatever for the majority of your life that says this sucks, this isn't enough, I'm not enough, it's not moving fast enough, I wish this space of me would change or that space of my life would move or whatever. When those lines, when that script keeps coming in, I need you to remember you've left that play. And I need you to remember that you agreed with your own being, you agreed with yourself to allow yourself a new script, to allow yourself a new show, a new play, a new novel, a new story. And I need you to act the role of that, not the role of who you've been. If this aligns for you, if this makes sense to you, right? This is gold. I'm going to tell you because I did this. In 2006, I'm not going to go all the way down this road, but I'm going to give you a really quick bullet point recap. In 2006, I had the picture perfect life. Big house, like 3,300 and some square feet, huge swimming pool, 2 gorgeous, healthy kids, a hunky husband, a great vehicle, stay at home, work out of my house. I had a job, but I was able to stay home with my kids. I had what I wanted when I wanted. We did everything we wanted. We had a big load of debt, absolutely. Like over $50,000 in credit card debt, owed on the house, $400 and some thousand. I was stressed out, depleted, nervous system fried, but I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I was playing my script so well. I was great at it. I was an Academy Award-winning actress. But my body was screaming at me because I was playing the wrong role. I had another part that was coming my way. And the director, I know the director very well. The director had already chosen me to play this role. Yaroso ella. Did I see that at the time? No. Did I have to just do everything I could to keep my head above water and lean in and find supplements that would help my emotional support and eat better and exercise and get in nature and take things off my plate and start saying no to people that I kept saying yes to that were depleting the hell out of me? They weren't doing it, I was. I had to start ownership of what I was living. Every single word in my script I wrote. No one to blame. But the director inside of me, my higher self, my wholeness, my source space, was sending me a new script. So then it was like, hey, guess what? You got to get ready for this new character. So you got to start preparing. You know, a lot of actors have to do that for certain roles. They have to gain weight. They have to change their hair. They have to learn certain dialect, accents, whatever it is, right? So I started learning. I started understanding myself differently so I could prepare myself for this new role. What that meant, I had to be willing to walk through the spaces of myself that had played the role for so long. And I had to be gentle and compassionate and nurturing. And I wasn't always, but I learned to be. And I learned to guide myself out of that space and into the new alignment for the new role, for the new script, for the new story. And I'm going to tell you this. I told you I'm giving you a short version. It's a beautiful, long thing, but we only have so much for class today. I'm happier now than I've ever been in my whole life. I don't worry about my weight anymore. I used to worry and fight with my weight all the time. It would go up and down because I used food a lot of the time to make me feel better when I was not in a good place. I drank. I still drink sometimes, but only for like celebratory spaces, something like that. But I used to drink constantly. I drank alcohol. Like I would start like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, make the drink, go to bed. This was probably late 90s, early 2000s.
I was sedating myself in all these different ways from the physical because I didn't like the way my body was reacting to it. Even though it looked perfect to everybody else, I was so out of alignment with my soul purpose that I was screaming at me. You're so much more than the cookie cutter bullet point version that we think we've been told we're supposed to be. We're so much more. And when you are that so much more, and you try to shove that into some box of materialism, consumerism, whatever you want to call it, your soul can only take it for so long. And you will wake yourself up. And I think everybody who ends up here has woken up and or is waking up, and they are finding out what and who they really are. So I'm healthier now, I'm happier now. My kids witnessed it all because it was, over a period of time. I remember putting on the brakes in 2006. So that'll give you a perspective. And in 2017, I started feeling like I was being prepared for the next role. So 6 to 17 was the inner healing and the understanding of myself expanding. And then 17, and I was going into a whole nother level of communication with higher dimensional beings and the understanding of energy in my body and energy of the different dimensions we are, and just all kinds of spaces. But I was even moving into a new script then that was preparing me for this. And my kids watched all of that. But how glorious, because there was this massive healing given to myself because of it. I gave it to myself because I allowed my healing and I nurtured my healing and I didn't give up on myself, even though there were many days when in the very beginning, I said this before, some of you have heard me say this, I felt like getting a t-shirt that said, I'm sorry, so I could just point at it. Because I kept, in my mind, messing up, because I kept getting angry. I kept yelling at my kids or slamming a door or just being in spaces that I knew wasn't that person. I didn't want to be that person, but I was finding my way out of them. And the only way you get out of a room is to go through it and open the door and leave. And so I remember that space. My kids watched me navigate that space, but I had a little moment, that means year or two in my verbiage. But that's because I think of things as blips. I've talked to you about that before. So start thinking of how you use your words, right? So I had a little moment, year or two, where I felt guilty for what I put my kids through. Because I found them praying when they were 8, whatever. I said, are you all right? What's the matter? Are you all right? Yes, I'm just praying for you, Mommy, that God will help you. So I had a blip of healing the guilt of what my kids saw and what I did, right? Even though it wasn't like horrific. I know I've heard stories and I know people that have suffered spaces. But you still have your personal connection to the space that you have to navigate. But here's a really beautiful thing that happens is anybody who watches you heal, sees your journey, they're going on it with you. They're having their own experience for their own growth as well, of whatever they came in for their own journey. It's interconnected. But my kids coming to me as young, I guess one was like 16 or 17, and the other one, she's about 5 years older, so whatever that is, 21 or something. Around the same time, though, they both came to me separately, and they said to me so lovingly and so gently and so kindly that they saw me. They said that I had been the best example that they could ever imagine of that people can change. Can you imagine having your kid tell you that? That you are the best example that people can change. If they want to change, they can change. So
that happened. And then I had always wanted land since around that same time frame of waking up. I just wanted to get on land. Of course, it's a very big part of my work. You know that. The very first thing we do is earth reconnection, root reconnection, and Acasma Quantum Energy. And I was drawn to have land, like a lot of land around me, and touch the soils and plant plants and walk on the pastures and talk to the trees. And I needed that land. And I've been wanting it since I woke up, 2006. So not only did my healing happen and my journey of rediscovery and understanding and my new script and my director, gave me my new directions. And my children watched me prove, if you will, that people can change. And they watched a woman that they revere, respect, and love. They watched a woman create and design a life she loved. That's powerful. And on top of that, last year, many of you know, it moved very fast. It was really interesting. My son-in-law called me and said, I found this land I think you should look at. It's 15 acres of land with a 2-story house on it. I think we should look at it. And both my daughters wanted to live on land with us, but my one daughter, my oldest daughter, was ready to. She was selling her home, and she's like, if you don't do this now, Mom, we're going to buy a house in a neighborhood, and, that could just roll out into it just is what it is kind of thing if you don't look at this. So it was really beautiful how I was bringing myself this guidance, if you will, right? This prodding. So I go to look at the land and I fall in love with it. It's everything I ever wanted. The entrance, I'm a mile off the road. I go past horse farms on my way in. Equestrian, they ride the horses and take care of the horses. It's lovely to live by them. Huge ancient oak trees that swoop to the earth, pine trees that soar stories high. Beautiful. I love it. I want it. But I own a home. I have to sell a house. How am I going to do this? I've never been able to buy a house without a contingency, on the sale of mine. And it was a hot market at the time. And they were like, if you're going to make an offer, you're going to need to be strong and you're going to need to be able to do it. You can't ask them to wait till your house sells, And there was an offer right after ours, and there was a bidding war. But we ended up getting the house. Considering all of that, we qualified right away. We carried 2 mortgages. We've never thought that was going to happen. And we got the house basically for what the lady originally asked, because there was some siding issue that my husband had to replace. And because of that, we were able to have her come back down to her original price, so the bidding war didn't hurt us financially. My daughter and I, we lived together in the house, and now ready? Are you ready? I haven't been here 1 year yet. I sold my other home within 30 or 40 days after I bought this one. Now, this is so fast, you guys, but this is what happens when the momentum of manifestation kicks in. Sold that house last November, moved in this one. I'm coming on 1 year of signing the contract on this house in September. Haven't even made it there yet, right? I'm shy by a few months. I paid this house off 2 weeks ago. I've never owned a home in my life. I thought you'd die paying for houses, I thought you'd die with debt, and then, but my husband's business has been really doing well. My business has been doing really well, but I never limited myself that it had to come in from me, or it had to come in from him, or it had to come in this specific way. I just lived from the script that the director gave me of that I already am this space. I lived from the thought processes, the feelings, the understandings of I already own where I live, and I'm already happy where I live, and I'm not because of what I saw. I had a lot of pieces and parts that were in motion. I had houses to sell, and I had contracts to close, and this is something
a couple years ago, we probably would never even ventured out on. We would have said, no, it's too iffy, it's too scary, it's too big. And we actually, yes, we came home from Sedona. So last year we were in Sedona on my Time to Rise Sedona event that I hold once a year. Some of you were there. We came home on Saturday and I signed on this house and 15 acres of land on Monday. From the top of the Red Rocks to the glorious Garden of Eden land here that I have, I designed this life. I wrote this script. And whatever life you're living, you designed it and you wrote the script. When I accepted that, when I really owned that, and I didn't want to put any of my life on anybody else, it wasn't my, because I did. In the very beginning, it was my husband's problem. He was why I was stressed. Or it was my kids. They were why I was stressed. Or it was my job. My job was why I was stressed, or all of the above, right? And it took me time, but I didn't have the tools you have. I did not have it written out the way it's been written out, and energy sessions the way that we have the attunings, the Being the New Human classes, the bonus classes in the portal. You have a wealth of information, meditations, the EC meditations. My light language was intermittent, to say the least. I spoke in tongues in 93, and I hadn't spoke in tongues or light language again really until probably, I don't know, 2017 or something. So the majority of my healing, I was not the way this is laid out now. It's almost as if I always said I was my own scientific experiment or documented study. I've said that from the beginning. So everything I was learning, I was documenting. I was making note of, how did I do that? How did I shift that? How did I heal that? How did I move that mountain? How did I, get to this space? And that's what's in Acasma Quantum Energy. That's what's in the teachings of Acasma. My journey of expansion, of remembrance, the script of the new story. And I always love that about Acasma. You're in AQE Foundations here, and it meets everyone right where they're at, right? Doesn't matter if you come in a seasoned energy healer, or you've never heard of this before in your life. Chakras, energy centers, consciousness, manifestation. Doesn't matter. Acasma meets you right where you're at and says, if you're willing to stand and trust yourself, we will walk with you. We will hold the higher alignment beside you, in front of you, behind you. The we is spaces of you. Acasma is spaces of you. It's the reconnection, remembrance, activation of those spaces, those energies. So anything I teach you or ask you to trust in yourself, I have learned myself, and I have had to trust in myself. I will never ask you to do anything that I haven't had to do myself, really, right? And now there's a deer, beautiful deer. Hello. So, wherever you're at in your experiential space of you, if your gifts are wide open, you're shifting into new vantage points, and you're seeing the reflection back in your outer world, or if you're coming in and you're saying, I'm tired, I'm worn out, this hasn't been the easiest space, Acasma meets you right where you're at. But Acasma will not make anyone be happy. It gives you the opportunity for the connection of happiness to be anchored within you, that no matter where you're at or what you're experiencing, you're still happy. that doesn't translate perfectly, but you know what I mean. I have moments that I'm not happy. I have spaces and experiences with others where I can get my feelings hurt, or I can feel afraid, or whatever it is. But I'm very much more aware of through observation and capable of that observation so that I can choose the way I direct the experience. So the experience does not direct me. That's where you're at, every one of us. Wherever you're at, you're still there in the understanding of learning and implementing, whether you're super good at it or just starting out, that you're the director of your energy in connection with whatever you're experiencing. So AQE1, really allow that, if you're brand new in this space, really allow that reconnectiveness of your root center, your root lines to the Earth's energy. In AQE2, I think we take that deeper and you allow yourself to really sense the energies of the Earth. Really do that. You know, if you haven't done it in a long time and it's not an everyday understanding for you, take some moments to go back to that space, right? Because in the Earth reconnection space, the root reconnection, the deepening of the Earth reconnection, there's an energetic dance that goes on between your heart and your mind. It's preparing you for AQE3, where the chalice of life comes in and you have the reprogramming of your waters, because whatever your script has been, whatever acting role you've had for the last whatever many years, is embedded in your water. Your waters hold the program of your words, your script, okay? So when you're in that AQE2 space and you're doing that deepening of your earth reconnection, there's a dance of energy between the heart center and the brain. And this is for the heart and mind coherence. So this affects your auric field. This affects how you produce the energy that creates the experiences you have. And in 3, the blessing of the waters, and there's so much more there, the heart portal opens and the I am floods in at a deeper level. But every space of AQE is a foundational step, if you will, or structured base that you're building on. And you can go back and revisit spaces of 1 or 2 or whatever it is. And you can allow yourself to deepen those spaces, because just because you have it that one time, it doesn't mean you can't go back in and do it again, because you're different than the first time you did it. So energetically, you're going to receive and open and process at a different space. But it will never leave you. It will never forsake you. You, your remembrance, your truth, the connection of Acasma Quantum Energy. There's a student who returned recently to this work, and many of you may know her, and she's been kind of in and out of the space, but she's a wonderful testimony in a sense of you do you, your way. Acasma will never make you be something you are not, but it will always remain what it is. And if you choose to remain or come back in, flow in and out, Acasma's like this foundational space of ever expansion consciousness that never changes, in the sense of it's always there. And the student went away for a while and then came back, and they were kind of getting, and still are kind of getting, a re-grip, if you will, of the space, like a reconnective alignment of the space. And I could see them through what they were sharing, that they were trying to find the alignment with themselves and the space of Acasma again. And I shared a little bit of insights here and there over the last probably week. But it clicked, and they listened, and they dropped all the bells and the whistles and the filters and the AIs, and they got still. And they allowed the purity of their human format as the higher dimensional being that they are, in connection with a cosmic consciousness, and divine beings of light came forth, visual in the video. That's the purity of Acasma. That's why I ask you guys, don't use filters, please. I know they're fun and jazzy, but you have the special effects of divine source. It's a button not everybody has the ability to push and play upon their videos. You do. Through a Acasma connection. This is a staple. This is a foundational core essence of Acasma. It's why people see this work and they stopped in their tracks. And they have to watch, they have to listen, they feel it. Because it's not generated by a computer. It's not made by a graphic art program. It's not designed by somebody altering and doing filters and voices and all this stuff. It's your voice, it's your tone, it's your heart, it's your art, it's your knowing, it's your space of presence with the divinity that you are. And allowing that trust of yourself, to allow that to flow through, to speak in whatever way it's going to speak to whoever's going to connect with it, that's Acasma Quantum Energy. It's a big call, I know. It's a big call. 2 words. And they are the biggest ones anybody will ever ask of you, most likely. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. So, Holy Divine One, thank you. Thank you for being here for Acasma Quantum Energy, because a lot of you come in and you're looking for it for you, right? For your awakening, for your shift, for your moving forward and opening up more of you. But inevitably, you are anchoring it for an entire species. Inevitably, you are allowing it to be available for your entire lineage. That's how Acasma Quantum Energy works. So everything you do on your level, your individuality, your space of your perception, your viewpoint, your script, your acting role, everything you do is then echoed out and available for all the connective points of you. I'm going to do an entire class on the acting role, because I'm telling you, it's where it's at. Once you decide who you really are and you stop allowing any of the spaces you've been to override that, and you really key into that space of that script, that knowing, that space of you, that vibration of you, and you live as if you act, you be that space, action. Not just in your head, not just in your dreams, not just in your meditations, not just on an affirmation, but it is truly in every essence of you, you. Then everything outward connects and aligns vibrationally with that and reflects back. But actually, I'm going to tell you this, it reflects back even bigger and even better. So you when they say wildest dreams or whatever, bigger than your wildest dreams, really, yes. All right. I'm going to end this here. I love you all unendingly. Thank you so much for being in this space with me. Thank you for all that you are. Yarosoeya, tene yanatawatea, apuaye, apuaye, apuaye. I love you. I love you. I love you.